A growing number of people over 60 are walking more than they ever have. Parks are packed. Fitness trackers are buzzing. And yet emergency departments across the country report that falls among adults 70 and older have climbed by nearly 40% in the last decade. Something is not adding up. You would think that the more you walk, the safer you become. But the data tells a different story. And the reason might surprise you. Walking builds endurance. It keeps your heart healthy. It gets you out of the house. But walking does almost nothing for the single most important skill that keeps you upright: balance. And without balance, every step you take is a gamble. Your ankle rolls on uneven pavement. You trip over a rug. You lean forward to grab your keys and your body tips before your leg can catch you. It happens in a split second. And once you hit 70, a fall is not just a bruise. It can mean a broken hip, surgery, months of rehab, or worse. So here is the uncomfortable truth. Walking alone will not save you. But there's one exercise that can. It takes 2 minutes. It requires no equipment. And it does what walking cannot. It trains your brain, your muscles, and your inner ear to keep you stable when the ground shifts, when your vision blurs, when your body wobbles. This is not complicated. But most doctors never mention it. And most seniors never learn it until it is too late. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what this exercise is, how to do it safely, and why it works better than anything else you have tried. I am also going to show you 3 variations you can start today, even if you have never thought about balance before. And I will explain the one mistake people make that turns this life-saving move into a risky one. Before we dive in, drop a quick comment and let me know. How old are you and where are you watching from? I love seeing this community grow. Let me start with what most people get wrong. They assume balance is something you either have or you do not. Like it is genetic, or that it fades with age and there is nothing you can do about it. That is not true. Balance is a skill. And like any skill, it weakens when you stop practicing it. Think about it. When you were younger, you climbed stairs without holding the rail. You bent down to tie your shoes without grabbing a chair. You stood on one foot to pull on your socks. You did not think about it. Your body just knew what to do. But somewhere in your 50s or 60s, you stopped doing those things. You started holding the counter when you reached for a high shelf. You sat down to put on your shoes. You gripped the handrail every time. And slowly, quietly, your balance system began to shut down. Not because you are old, but because you stopped asking it to work. Here is what happens inside your body. Balance is controlled by 3 systems. Your inner ear, which senses motion. Your eyes, which tell you where you are in space. And something called proprioception, which is your body's ability to feel where your joints are without looking. When you are young, all 3 systems talk to each other constantly. But as you age, the signals start to fade. Your inner ear loses some of its sensitivity. Your vision weakens. And the nerves in your feet and ankles stop sending clear messages to your brain. Walking does not fix any of this. Walking is forward motion on flat ground. Your body barely has to adjust. Your weight shifts from one foot to the other in a predictable rhythm. There is no challenge, no wobble, no recovery. Your balance system stays asleep. But standing on one foot? That wakes everything up. Suddenly your inner ear has to sense the tiny shifts in your body. Your eyes have to lock onto a point to keep you steady. And your ankle, knee, and hip have to fire dozens of small muscles just to keep you from tipping over. It is a full system test. And it is the single best way to train your body to stay upright when something goes wrong. Let me tell you about Margaret. She is 72. She used to be a librarian. She walked every morning for 20 years. Never missed a day. But one afternoon she stepped off a curb wrong and went down hard. Fractured her wrist. Bruised her ribs. After that, she was terrified to walk anywhere that was not perfectly flat. I asked her to stand on one foot. She could not hold it for even 2 seconds. Her arms flailed. Her standing leg shook. She had to grab the counter. That is when it clicked for her. Walking had kept her heart strong. But it had done nothing for her balance. We started simple. 10 seconds a day, holding the back of a chair, just lifting 1 foot an inch off the ground. Within 2 weeks, she could do it without holding on. Within a month, she was walking through her neighborhood again. And 6 weeks later, she took a trip to visit her daughter and did not think twice about uneven sidewalks or crowded airports. That is what this exercise does. It gives you your confidence back. Now let me walk you through the basic version. You can do this in your kitchen, your bedroom, anywhere you have a sturdy surface nearby. Stand next to a counter or the back of a solid chair. Rest your fingertips lightly on the surface. Not gripping, just touching. Shift your weight onto your right foot. Lift your left foot just an inch or two off the ground. Keep your standing leg slightly bent. Do not lock your knee. Look straight ahead at a fixed point on the wall. Hold for 10 seconds. Then switch sides. That is it. Do this once in the morning and once in the evening. 2 minutes total. If 10 seconds feels too hard, start with 5. If 10 feels easy, go for 20. The goal is not to break a record. The goal is to challenge your body just enough that it has to adapt. Here is the science behind why this works. When you stand on one foot, your brain activates what researchers call postural control. That is the system that keeps you from falling over. Inside your inner ear, there are tiny structures filled with fluid and crystals. When your head moves, the fluid shifts and sends signals to your brain about which way you are tilting. Your brain then tells your muscles to adjust. But if you never practice balancing, those signals get weaker. The fluid thickens. The crystals shift out of place. And your brain stops trusting the information it receives. Standing on one foot forces your inner ear to recalibrate. It also strengthens the small stabilizer muscles in your ankle, knee, and hip. These are not the big muscles you use when you walk or climb stairs. These are the tiny muscles that fire when you wobble, when you step on a rock, when you lean too far forward. If those muscles are weak, you fall. If they are strong, you catch yourself. Studies from balance research centers have shown that older adults who practice single-leg stance exercises just a few times a week reduce their fall risk by more than 30%. That is better than most medications. And it costs nothing. Now here is where people make mistakes. They rush it. They try to stand on one foot without any support and immediately lose their balance. Then they assume it is too hard and they give up. Do not do that. Use the chair. Use the counter. There is no shame in holding on. You are training a skill. You would not expect to lift a heavy weight on your first try. You start light and build up. The same principle applies here. Another mistake is locking the knee on your standing leg. When you lock your knee, you turn your leg into a rigid pole. That makes balancing harder, not easier. Keep a soft bend in your knee. It gives your muscles room to adjust. And it protects your joint. Also, do not look down at your feet. I know it is tempting. But when you look down, you lose the visual reference that helps you stay steady. Pick a spot on the wall at eye level and do not take your eyes off it. That single cue can double your balance time. Let me give you the first variation. Once you can hold the basic stance for 20 seconds without holding on, try this. Stand on one foot and close your eyes. This is much harder. Without vision, your brain has to rely entirely on your inner ear and proprioception. It is like balance training on hard mode. Start with just 3 to 5 seconds. Work up to 10. This variation is especially useful if you ever have to walk in dim lighting or if you wake up at night and need to move around before your eyes adjust. It trains your body to stay stable even when it cannot see. Here is the second variation. Stand on one foot and turn your head slowly to the left, then to the right. This challenges your inner ear in a different way. Most falls happen when you are looking around, reaching for something, or turning to talk to someone. Your head moves and your body has to adjust. Practicing this movement while balancing makes it automatic. You are teaching your nervous system to keep you upright even when your attention is split. Do this for 10 seconds on each side. Start slow. If you feel dizzy, stop and rest. Dizziness is a sign that your inner ear needs more practice, not that you should avoid the exercise. Just go slower. Third variation. Stand on one foot and reach forward with your opposite hand. Pretend you are grabbing something off a shelf. This adds a dynamic element. Now your center of gravity shifts. Your brain has to recalculate in real time. This is the kind of movement that causes falls in real life. You lean forward to pick up a pot. You stretch to grab your phone. You reach for a door handle. If your balance system is not trained, your body tips and you go down. Practicing this reach while standing on one foot makes it safer when it counts. Hold the reach for 3 seconds. Come back to center. Repeat 5 times. Then switch sides. Now let me address the one thing that stops people from doing this. Fear. You are afraid you will fall while practicing. That is completely understandable. But here is the truth. Practicing balance in a controlled environment, with support nearby, is the safest way to prevent a real fall later. If you never practice, your first wobble will happen when you are alone, on concrete, with nothing to grab. That is when injuries happen. So yes, use the chair. Use the counter. Do this exercise in a carpeted room if that makes you feel better. Wear shoes with good grip. But do not skip it because you are afraid. Fear is what keeps you fragile. Let me tell you about Robert. He is 76. He was a high school coach for 30 years. He stayed active. He walked. He golfed. He thought he was doing fine. Then one day he stepped out of the shower, slipped on a wet tile, and broke his hip. After surgery, his physical therapist asked him to stand on one foot. He could not do it at all. Not even with both hands on the rail. He was shocked. He had been walking 3 miles a day. How could his balance be that bad? The answer is simple. Walking and balance are not the same thing. He started doing single leg stands every morning while brushing his teeth. Just held the sink and lifted one foot. 30 seconds on each side. 2 months later, he was back on the golf course. And he told me he feels steadier now than he did 10 years ago. That is the power of targeted practice. Here is another reason this exercise matters. Balance is linked to longevity. Research has shown that people over 60 who can stand on one foot for 10 seconds without support have a significantly lower risk of death from all causes over the next decade. That might sound dramatic, but it makes sense. Balance reflects the health of your nervous system, your muscles, your inner ear, and your brain. When balance fails, everything else starts to crumble. You stop moving because you are afraid to fall. You lose muscle. You gain weight. Your heart weakens. Your mood drops. It is a cascade. But if you can maintain your balance, you stay active. You stay independent. You keep doing the things that make life worth living. And that is what this is really about. Not just preventing falls, but protecting your freedom. Now let me give you a habit stacking tip. Do not add this exercise to your to-do list. That is how it gets skipped. Instead, attach it to something you already do every day. Brush your teeth? Stand on one foot while you brush. Waiting for your coffee to brew? Stand on one foot. Watching the evening news? Stand up during the commercial break and do your practice. When you tie the exercise to an existing routine, it becomes automatic. You do not have to remember. You do not have to motivate yourself. It just happens. That is how small habits create big changes. Here is one more variation for those of you who want to go further. Stand on one foot on a soft surface. A folded towel. A couch cushion. A foam pad if you have one. This makes the exercise much harder because the surface shifts under your foot. Your brain has to work even harder to keep you stable. This is advanced. Do not try it until you can hold a solid surface single leg stand for 30 seconds without support. But once you are ready, it is one of the most effective ways to bulletproof your balance. Start with 10 seconds. Work up to 20. You will feel muscles in your foot and ankle that you forgot existed. Let me also address a question I hear often. What if you have arthritis? What if your knee hurts? What if you have had a hip replacement? You can still do this exercise. In fact, you need it more than anyone. Just modify. If your knee hurts when you stand on one leg, do not lift your foot as high. Just shift your weight onto one leg and let the other foot rest lightly on the ground. You are still training your balance system. If you have had a hip replacement, check with your surgeon first. But in most cases, single leg balance work is encouraged after the initial healing period. It strengthens the muscles around the new joint and prevents compensatory patterns that lead to other injuries. If you have severe arthritis in your ankle, wear a supportive shoe. Use the counter. Go slow. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Now let me tell you about Linda. She is 68. She used to teach dance. But after she retired, she stopped moving the way she used to. She gained weight. Her knees started to ache. She developed a fear of falling that kept her from doing anything active. Her daughter bought her a fitness tracker and told her to walk more. She tried, but every time she walked, her knees hurt, and she still felt unsteady. I suggested she start with balance training instead. Just 2 minutes a day. She was skeptical, but she tried it. Within 3 weeks, she noticed that her knees hurt less. Her posture improved. She felt more grounded, and the fear started to lift. She realized that her body was not broken. It just needed to be trained differently. Now she walks without fear. She even started taking a gentle yoga class. And she told me that standing on one foot for 2 minutes a day gave her more confidence than anything else she had tried. Here's the thing. You do not need a gym. You do not need a trainer. You do not need special equipment. You just need 2 minutes and a willingness to practice. And the best part is that you will see results fast. Most people notice a difference within a week. Your standing leg feels stronger. You do not wobble as much. You start to trust your body again. And that trust changes everything. You take the stairs without gripping the rail. You walk on uneven ground without hesitating. You move through your day with ease instead of fear. That is what independence looks like. Let me give you one final tip. Track your progress. Not because you need to compete with anyone, but because seeing improvement is motivating. Write down how long you can hold your balance on each leg. Check it once a week. You will be amazed at how quickly the numbers go up. And on days when you feel discouraged, you can look back and see how far you have come. That evidence matters. It reminds you that your body is capable of change at any age. Now let me be clear. This exercise is not a replacement for medical care. If you have a history of falls, dizziness, or vertigo, talk to your doctor. If you have been diagnosed with a balance disorder, you may need specialized physical therapy. But for most people over 60, this simple practice is enough to make a real difference. It is safe, it is effective, and it works. You just have to do it. Not once in a while. Not when you remember. Every day. 2 minutes. That is the commitment. And it is one of the smallest investments you can make for one of the biggest returns. So here is my challenge to you. After you finish watching this video, stand up. Find a counter or a sturdy chair. And try it. Just 10 seconds on each leg. See how it feels. Notice what happens. Does your standing leg shake? Do your arms fly out? Can you hold it without gripping the support? That information is valuable. It tells you where you are right now. And once you know where you are, you can start moving forward. Do this every day for 2 weeks. Then come back and tell me what changed. I promise you will notice something. Maybe you will feel steadier on your feet. Maybe you will walk with more confidence. Maybe you will stop worrying about falling every time you step outside. Whatever it is, that change is worth 2 minutes of your time. And remember this. Aging is not about decline. It is about adaptation. Your body is still capable of learning. Your nervous system is still capable of strengthening. You just have to give it the right challenge. Walking is great. Keep walking. But add this. Train the skill that walking cannot touch. Train your balance. Because balance is what keeps you moving. And movement is what keeps you alive. So let me ask you this. Which variation will you try first and why? Drop a comment and let me know. I read every single one.